So you want to learn about Golang Azure Functions based on timer triggers. And in that case, you've come to essentially the best place you can. The spoiler alert I'm going to give you is there are no Golang Azure Functions based on timer triggers. You can't do it. Azure does not support it. But in this video, I will show you a workaround that you can do to essentially get a similar thing going. Just a friendly reminder, if you could like and subscribe, just support the channel, I'd really appreciate it. I went about wanting to create an Azure function in Go that would do something every 60 days. Specifically, it would renew a SSL certificate. And what I was trying to do was have it based on the timer trigger, because I had done that in previous languages, C# mainly, and I even was suggested to do this by ChatGPT, which probably should have been my first red flag, but anyways, so I went about trying to figure it out, and through looking at the documentation and kind of wondering, realized that just you can't do it. So obviously you can write other languages for Azure Functions. They've got a quick start tutorial on Go and Rust, but that's just for HTTP triggers. And so if you look at their timer trigger docs, they spell out which languages you can do, and they don't say Go, as you can see. They even say PowerShell, stuff like that. Of course, Microsoft loves PowerShell, but yeah, no Go. So anyways, so no Go on Go, but here's how we can get around it. What I did is I created a container app. So I created this repository, a Go project, and it just uses a cron library for Go that just runs functions on a interval schedule or a cron expression. So you can see here on line 19, we're adding the function with this expression that basically is 2 months. Every 2 months I want to do something, and it's going to run all my jobs here. So that's kind of how I set that up, and then in the job that's being ran, we are renewing a certificate and uploading it to Twilio. This is for Twilio link shortening. Let me know if you guys are interested in learning more about that. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, so that's basically the high level. I wanted to do a container application so I could make it just kind of vendor agnostic. So I created a Docker file. ChatGPT definitely didn't help me with this. And then I set up the resource here for the container application. And then the cool part is with GitHub Actions, you can, Microsoft has pretty good documentation on GitHub Actions, so you can pretty much set up your CI/CD pretty quickly. I never try to manually deploy something with the command line. I feel like it's almost kind of a waste of time if you want to set up CI/CD personally. That's my, let me know if you hate that. But so the steps are pretty simple with the GitHub action. You first have to log in to the Azure Container Registry. You build your Docker image and tag it using the GitHub SHA commit hash. And then I push that same image I just tagged. And then we go on to the next step. We log into Azure. And then we go on to the final third step, which is to deploy the container application. And the nice thing is Azure has a lot of cool GitHub action pre-built that they have available for you. So there's the container apps deploy action v1, and you can basically specify the container app name, and you have to the resource group and all that good stuff. And then they have a couple different ways to do it. I specified this image to deploy property, which they don't require you to do that, and I believe if you look in the docs they won't talk about that, but that was the easiest way for me to get Azure to recognize that I was deploying this image, that I wanted this container app to build from this image in the GitHub action. So that's the pipeline at a high level, and then it was deployed. So you can see provisioning status has succeeded, and if we poke around and back this up here a bit, bigger than 24, Hours last 7 days. Cool. Yeah. So this is when we deploy it. This is what it's going to log running the jobs, OCC jobs. That's pretty much it. But the other thing I want to note for you guys is that this isn't really an ideal setup. It is one of the main reasons I wanted to do the timer trigger in the first place was to have something that would scale to 0. Like if I have this kind of cron job code repository, and like my first one is running every 60 days, well, I really would like it to be able to scale to 0 because it's most of the time it's not doing anything at all. But wasn't able to, Azure doesn't do timer triggers for Go, as I said. So I did this, but this is running. It's just running. It's just waiting to get that time where it can finally run its job. So in the future, I would like to change that up. It might be a different architecture, maybe still with a container app. We'll see. Let me know if you guys have any ideas. But otherwise, I'll just come up with something and create a follow-up video to basically implement that. So anyways, that is pretty much it. If you want to create, a timer trigger based Golang Azure function, you can't do it, but there's a lot of helpful libraries for Go cron. So look at doing a workaround like that. All right, thanks.